A recently released WWE Superstar reacts to the Ring General's new name. A former Universal Champion pitched the idea of facing Vince and Shane McMahon with his dad. And Kofi Kingston wants to face top AEW faction. What's up, everyone? I'm Jose G, and there's a lot to talk about in today's Sportskeeda Wrestling WWE News Roundup. Never miss brand new content by liking, sharing, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. The recently released WWE Superstar reacts to the Ring General's new name. Former NXT champion Keith Lee gave his opinion on WWE changing Walter's name. Lee, who himself underwent a name change before his release, sympathized with the Ring General in a social media post. The Imperium leader is the latest star in the promotion to undergo a name change. The former NXT champion interrupted the ring announcer after his match on NXT 2.0 and announced himself as Gunther. Following the show, former WWE star Keith Lee chimed in with his views on the name change and posted a message for the NXT star on Twitter. It had been reported earlier that the company had filed a trademark for Gunther Stark, but no one knew who that was until now. The name change did not sit well with the wrestling community, as Gunther Stark was a captain lieutenant serving the Navy for Nazi Germany during World War II. The announcement received heavy backlash from the fans and critics alike. The main event of this week's edition of NXT 2.0 saw the leaders of Imperium and Diamond Mine collide in a one-on-one match as Roderick Strong faced the longest reigning champion in NXT history. Fans can expect weekly classics from the Ring General now that he's a permanent member of the US-based NXT. Walter is one of the most dominating athletes, and it wouldn't be surprising if WWE speeds up his move to the main roster. A former Universal Champion pitched the idea of facing Vince and Shane McMahon with his dad. Braun Strowman, also known as Adam Scherr, recently shared a picture of himself with his family on social media, wishing his dad on his birthday. WWE legends like The Undertaker and Hulk Hogan commented on the post, wishing Strowman's dad in their own hilarious way. Strowman noticed those comments and sent out the following tweet. A fan then asked Strowman if he would ever team up with his dad for a once-in-a-lifetime match. The Monster Among Men replied that he pitched the idea of teaming up with his dad to face Vince and Shane McMahon before budget cuts, referring to his release from WWE last year. WWE Chairman Vince McMahon hasn't had a proper WWE match since the last decade. He last wrestled CM Punk on Monday Night Raw on October 2012. At the age of 76, it's unlikely that we'll ever see him wrestle again, but he is sure in great shape for his age. As for Shane McMahon, he last wrestled a match at WrestleMania 37, ironically against Braun Strowman himself. The two faced each other in a steel cage match on night one of the show, with Strowman picking up the victory. Kofi Kingston wants to face top AEW faction. Kofi Kingston is one of the many superstars in WWE who are excited about the company finally opening the much talked about Forbidden Door. He revealed that his dream match is a clash between the New Day and the Elite. Kingston has been a WWE guy through and through, achieving almost everything there is to achieve in the company. The 40-year-old is a Grand Slam champion, and his run with the New Day was perhaps the most memorable period in terms of the money he drew for the company. The New Day is also the longest tenured faction in WWE history, and there has been talk about a dream match between them and AEW faction, the Elite. The two factions have crossed paths before, but in a gaming context and not a wrestling one. On an episode of the Battleground podcast, Kofi Kingston answered the question about the dream match he wants now that the Forbidden Door is open, saying, quote, "We talk about working with the Elite all the time. We talk about having a 6-man with the Elite. That would be great. We kind of touched on it when we played Street Fighter, and that wasn't supposed to happen. We thought at some point it would be pulled, but here we are, man. It's crazy. It's a good thing." End quote. Kofi Kingston also went on to talk about Mickie James, saying that it was only perfect that she was the person announced to cross that Forbidden Door. He said it was very Mickie of her to pop her head in, and mentioned that she is appearing at the Royal Rumble. What we have now is merely a tease of the possibility of the Forbidden Door. In reality, the situation is less complicated because Mickie James isn't signed to a full-time contract with Impact Wrestling despite being the Knockouts champion. However, the move seems to have boosted morale in Impact Wrestling, and there is no doubt that many superstars within WWE keep an eye on other promotions as well, particularly AEW. It will be interesting to see if Vince McMahon and Tony Khan ever develop some kind of working relationship. However, the New Day versus the Elite would be one of the most surreal crossover matches in modern wrestling history. WWE's Raw audience surprisingly low during Royal Rumble build. This Monday's episode of Raw drew one of the smallest audiences since the end of the pandemic era, with only 3,000 people in attendance. The episode featured Bobby Lashley and Seth Rollins in the main event, with a late interference from the Usos, an 8-man tag featuring Rey and Dominic Mysterio, and Kevin Owens declaring himself for the Royal Rumble. It was the second lowest attendance figure for the Red brand since the company's return to regular touring. During a recent edition of Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer reported that just over 3,000 ticket holders were present at Tulsa's Box Center. This is a low number considering big names such as Edge and Beth Phoenix were booked to appear on the show. Ratings for Monday Night Raw show have been steadily falling for the last 2 decades, and this might be starting to show in the current low ticket sales. A Wrestling Observer Radio report back in November of 2021 stated that the ticket sales for WrestleMania 38 in Arlington, Texas were lower than WWE had initially expected. Dubbed by WWE the most stupendous 2-night event in WrestleMania history, WrestleMania 38 is rumored to be headlined at least by one night by the latest match in the Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, and Paul Heyman saga. WrestleMania ticket sales are sure to pick up, but the recent low attendances may be indicative of a much deeper issue. Sheamus details the big mistake WWE made heading into the Royal Rumble. Sheamus wants surprises in the Royal Rumble to remain a mystery until the music of the Superstar hits during the match. The SmackDown Superstar recently sat down with Louis Dangoor of Give Me Sport to discuss all things WWE. When talking about this year's Royal Rumble matchup, the former Rumble winner revealed that he's not a big fan of the company announcing the surprise entrance for the matches ahead of time. Regarding what superstars know ahead of time going into the Royal Rumble match, Sheamus revealed that he wasn't willing to divulge more information on what goes on backstage beyond knowing their entrant numbers a few hours ahead of time. As we head into one of WWE's most exciting matches of the year, the forbidden door is open with Impact Wrestling in the Women's Rumble. But will the door stay open for the Men's Rumble match? We'll find out in less than 10 days. Thanks for watching today's Sportskeeda Wrestling WWE News Roundup. For exclusive content that you never want to miss, you gotta subscribe to our YouTube channel and smash that notification bell so you never miss whenever we drop brand new content. Follow us on all social media and download the Sportskeeda app for the most up-to-date stories in the world of wrestling.